Hello friends, it's been a while since we've had a really meaty vlog and the last one was horror, so I thought we would do cozy fantasy this time. I thought this video was gonna take me a week to film and it ended up taking over a month. So enjoy the chaos, enjoy the ups and downs, grab a cup of tea or a warm beverage and let's have a cozy time together. Hi friends, I don't know about you, but I am in desperate need of some coziness this week, so we're just gonna spend the entire week reading cozy things, doing cozy things, hanging out with cozy puppies. I've got a scone and a cup of tea and a dog mug that has Christmas lights on it. These are the vibes we're trying to emulate this week. Let's talk TBR. I have the second volume of Witch Hat Atelier that we could read. I have the prequel to Legends and Lattes, Bookshops and Bone Dust. I started reading it, I'm halfway through and I'm loving it. We'll talk about that in a second. If we want to stay on the like Legends and Lattes theme, we could try out Cursed Cocktails. This is another independently published cozy fantasy that follows a similar, I don't want to say trope, but a similar plot line to Legends and Lattes, where we have someone who is opening up a new business. In this case, it's going to be a bar. The back says, when life gives you lemons, squeeze them into a stiff drink and stir. Might be fun. We have Cozy Bakery, Magical Bakery that we could read, graphic novel moment. Or if we need to bring out the big guns, we could always read some of Frog and Toad. There's also a new Studio Ghibli movie that just came out called The Boy and the Heron, which is based on Miyazaki's favorite childhood book, and it's called How Do You Live? How Does One Live? How Do You Live? I think it is. And I have the audiobook from my library, so another option for us. I feel very good about the options that we have in front of us. My goal is to read at least 3 things, but we're gonna read as many as we can in the week, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys and do cozy things. I'm in need of like a cozy reset. We have laundry to fold, we have things to clean. Okay, I'm gonna cuddle with the puppy, eat my scone, drink my cup of tea. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna send you guys back in time to this weekend because my friends and I went to go see the Nutcracker and we dressed up and went to a fun little rooftop bar to have a drink beforehand. And I filmed it because I thought you guys might want to see our fun little cozy night out. So I'll roll that footage. I'll see you guys back here. Getting ready for bed, I want to talk to you about this guy because I'm so happy to be reading cozy things again. I've been reading horror for the past month for the Goodreads Choice Awards video, and it kind of drained me mentally. Just, I don't know what I expected, but yeah, reading that much horror is gonna have an impact on your mental space. But I am just so happy to be back in like such a cozy space. And I'm gonna gush about my boyfriend for a second because I want to, and you guys are my friends and I feel like you'll support me. He did something today related to the YouTube channel and I just feel so loved and supported by this man. So the YouTube channel hasn't been doing great recently. This summer, largely due in part to Allie from Allison Pages, a lot of you found my channel and it has been so overwhelming to have my channel like double, triple in size in like a couple of months, and that was absolutely incredible. But over the past couple of months, it's not been doing great and I have been pretty stagnant and like losing subscribers. I'm trying not to let it affect me, but I would be lying to you guys if I said that I would still do this if nobody watched it. Like, part of the reason why I love doing this is because I love interacting with you guys, and it does feel really cool to put a lot of time into a video and have it do really well and be able to share my love of reading with you guys and have these really meaningful discussions in the comment section. And when you put a lot of effort into something and it flops, it kind of sucks. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of different content creators of all sizes say those words. This is not an original thought, but it's something that I've been having a hard time with recently. I'm trying really hard to not fall into the trap of doing what I think the algorithm wants and just create the content that I want to see and that I want to create. But I would be lying to you if I said that it wasn't hard sometimes. And I've been kind of sharing my struggles and my, thoughts and feelings and everything with Dan. And Dan has always been like the biggest supporter of my channel, even before we started dating, when I had like 500 subscribers or something. He was just like always so supportive, and he would always tell people about my channel, like if we were out at a function or something, because we were in the same friend group for a few years before we started dating. He would always tell people, oh my gosh, did you know that like Katie has a YouTube channel? Like, you should ask her about it. It's really cool. And he's just, I don't know, telling people to pull out their phones and subscribe. He's just so supportive. And yeah, I was sharing that with him today. And, both of our lives have been quite busy and quite stressful recently for a lot of different reasons. Yesterday was the first time that I have posted a video in 2 weeks. I've never taken 2 weeks off since I started my channel, and I was really, really hoping that video would do well, and it's not doing super well. That's okay. I'm allowed to take a break. I'm allowed to have video not do well in the algorithm. I'm allowed to just make a bad video. That was probably the most ambitious video that I've ever done. Having something like that not do so well sucks. And Dan commented on that video, and he sometimes comments on my videos, and he watches quite a few of them. And Dan's not a big reader. And I gave him a book right when we started dating, and then I Woke Up. If you've read that book, it's quite short. I think I read it in one sitting. He's been reading it over the course of many months, and he's not a huge reader. And just the other day I asked him if once he finishes this book, if he would want me to recommend him another one, give him another book. And he was talking about how the book that he wants me to recommend him is a book that allows him to get to know me better. He doesn't want me to pick a book that I think he'll like. He wants me to pick a book that tells him something about me. That alone, incredible. This man changed his username on YouTube to the Katie Marie Reads fan club because he just is that adorable and supportive. And I don't know, he watched an hour and 11-minute video about books that he will probably never read, just to support me and hear my voice. So I don't know, ladies, if he wanted to, he would. You guys saw the footage of us at the Nutcracker. This man wore a suit. This man dressed up. He listened to me gush about the orchestra. I have been to the ballet before when I was a child, but I enjoyed that way more than I thought I ever would. And I think a large part of that was because of who I was sitting next to. I feel so safe and loved and supported. Since we're reading Cozy Fantasy, I just wanted to share a cozy moment of my life. I'm still reading this guy. I'm still enjoying it. My absolute favorite part of this that I have read so far was at the very beginning when Viv is having a rough time and she goes into this bookshop. She meets this rat person who is just swearing, just left and right, just potty mouth on this person. And they recommend her a book. She walks in, the little creature pot roast yells at her, and she knocks over a pile of books. And while she's trying to walk in, there's a rotten board outside and her crutch goes through it, and she's just trying to tell this rat person all these things, and she's just getting more and more flustered. She's like, oh my goodness. And she's how can I make it up to you? And she's like, well, you can buy a book. And she's like, I don't have my wallet, I'm sorry. And she's like, okay, come back tomorrow and pay for it, whatever, I know where you are, you're at the inn. So she recommends her this very specific book, and it's just it's just so cute. I love recommending books. It is such an intimate experience. I typically give any present that I give to anyone, I give a book usually. And just, I don't know, it's just such a personal thing to know someone enough to understand how they would want to spend their quiet time, to be alone with their thoughts, what type of story they would enjoy. I don't know, I love it. And the first book she gives her is very action-packed and stereotypical for what an orc would want to read. And then as she gets to know more and more things about Viv, instead of asking questions like personal questions about Viv's life and preferences, she recommends her books that start those conversations and then asks her how she felt about the book. I don't know, it's just such a really cool, intimate way to get to know someone. And I've definitely used that when I like read books with my mom if I want to talk to her about a topic. Reading a book together is such a good way to do that. And yeah, spoiler alert, Dan, for the next book I'm recommending you. That's the direction I'm gonna go in for this next one. Okay, I'm gonna brush my teeth and go to bed, and I'll see you tomorrow for more cozy reading. Hello, I finished reading Bookshops in Bone Dust. This was so lovely and sweet. I feel like when I was reading Legends and Lattes multiple times, I teared up just because of how nice everyone was being to each other. And I didn't have that experience with this until the very end, and then it hit me really hard. I was talking about this last night, but just this idea of being able to gift someone a book in order to have a conversation with them indirectly was just so touching in here. And we saw this, like, there was an author event, there was a blind date with a book sort of a situation, and it just really feels like this was a book that was written for book lovers, and I ate it up. I don't think that anything will be able to capture the magic of Legends and Lattes quite as well as it did, but I actually really enjoyed the afterword, the acknowledgements here, where Travis Baldry's talking about how difficult this book was for him to write and how many books he had to write in order to write this one, and kind of this idea of needing to travel a lot of different paths and go on a lot of adventures and tell a lot of stories in order to be able to kind of get to your story, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. If you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, the story after the story. I just really enjoyed this, and it was perfect for today because I woke up with a bit of a cold, as I'm sure you can probably tell. And I have a really big meeting tomorrow, and I am hoping that I can go to bed early enough tonight that I can go to this meeting in person. I don't have to join it virtually because I need to be a business girly tomorrow. I need to get my content calendar and my budget approved for 2024, so I would really like to be able to do that in person. I'm feeling a little bit stressed about it because I feel like I'm just like a little cloudy because I have a bit of a cold. So that's on the agenda for tomorrow. I have decided what I want to pick up next, and it is Trust of the Emerald Sea. I don't even think this was one of the things that I mentioned that I might want to read this week when we did our little TBR at the beginning, but this is what I want to read this week. I have read Brandon Sanderson before. I read the Mistborn trilogy, like the first trilogy in the Mistborn universe. I really enjoyed book 1, and I really enjoyed book 3, and I really hated book 2. Basically, the things that I didn't enjoy were the way that women were portrayed, and this book is apparently what happened, what came out of Brandon Sanderson's mind after he watched The Princess Bride and went, I wish there were more for Buttercup to do. So I'm hoping that the portrayal of women is better in here, and this book is it's just so pretty. Just the actual physical book is stunning. When I asked you guys what I should pick up to give Brandon Sanderson another try, you guys overwhelmingly said that I should pick up Tress the Emerald Sea, so that is what we are doing. We are following Tress, who lives on an island, and no one ever leaves the island. Apparently she collects cups and gives them to her friend, and then her friend leaves. His father takes him off the island to go find a bride. Tress stows away on a ship, and the ship it's not an ocean sea. It's a sea of, like, spores. I don't know. It seems magical and cozy, and I hope it's as cheeky as The Princess Bride is, because I eat those books up. I love them a lot. I am sick and cold. Let's go put comfy clothes on and read this on the couch. Hi. We are on our way to work because I have a big meeting today. But I want to update you guys because I have not been reading what I told you I was reading, and I feel like we need to have a conversation about it. So I did get a little bit into Trust the Emerald Sea, and it was cute and cheeky, and it very much is giving Princess Bride, and I'm very excited to continue reading it. However, I also needed an audiobook, and I don't have the audiobook for Trust the Emerald Sea, so I wanted to grab something else while I'm walking dogs. So I decided to pick up How Does One Live? Or How Do You Live? Someone explained to me once and for all if it's Studio Ghibli or Studio Ghibli, because people keep correcting me no matter what I say, and I would like for you to tell me what it is because I'm confused. It's being made into The Boy and the Heron. It just came out last weekend, and I want to go see it this weekend. And so I thought I want to read the book before. I'm halfway through the book at this point, and I am confused because I have not seen the movie yet, but it feels like there should be a heron involved at this point, at halfway through the book, and there isn't one, and I'm just a little bit confused. My understanding of the film is that we have this boy whose mother has passed away, and this heron like takes him into kind of like an underworld situation, and it's like actual, it's like gets fantasy, it's magical, and that's not what's happening in this book that I'm reading right now. We're following this little boy, and his father has passed, but he passed like a long time ago, and it's basically like letters that he's written to his uncle and his interactions with his uncle, and they're talking about all of these like, philosophical things. It's a really interesting book. I'm really enjoying it, but it's not magic. There's no magic, there's no heron, and I am confused. And yeah, I just thought I would give you that update because that's what I'm reading now, and it's not what I thought it was. I was like, great, this will be cozy fantasy. Perfect, alas. I wonder if it's gonna get fantasy, or if maybe Miyazaki was just inspired by this, because this is apparently his favorite book, like childhood book, and he's making this film for his grandson. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that. I'll see you guys later tonight. I'll let you know how my big meeting goes. Hi, I'm back home. My meeting went well. I'm very, very happy about that. And I have acquired some more information about how do you live. So I just watched some YouTube videos. I'm sitting at my desk to find out some more information about this for you guys. I was wrong. The book is not being adapted into a movie. The book is going to have special significance for our main character in the film. So I am still happy that I am reading it in this video because I want to include my review of the film when I go see it this weekend in this video. But yeah, I was wrong. So I don't think there's going to be any magical, fantastical things going on in the book. So let's talk about how I'm actually enjoying it, because I didn't touch on that earlier today. I am really enjoying this. I'm really excited to see how big of a role it plays in the film, because it is talking about a lot of big topics, and I feel like, oh, I'm just really excited to see what Miyazaki does with this. So we're basically following this boy and his uncle's just like a really fantastic role model for him, and they're having all these philosophical questions and discussions, and our main character, he is going to school and he's experiencing one of his classmates is being bullied, and his uncle is like basically just parenting him, coaching him into how to be a good person, and at the same time talking about all of these really philosophical discussions. Right now where I'm at, we're talking about Napoleon, we've talked about Newton and the apple, and how like thinking about something that is so certain, and like an apple falling on your head, and then following that train of thought all the way until you hit something that isn't so certain. I don't know. It was like such a small realization or a small part of this book that I feel like just so many of these little stories, these little allegories have such a huge impact on like how I'm gonna think about things in life. And I'm even more excited to see this film now, knowing that it's not a direct adaptation and that the book is just gonna have special meaning to our main character. So I'll let you guys know what I thought of the rest of it, but so far it's going really, really well. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say before I leave. The boy had this theory about people who produce things and people who consume things, and the uncle's like talking through it with him. And then he talks about how every single person has something that they produce every single day. And he said, you should think about that for a long time and identify what it is that you produce every single day. But don't ask anybody else the question, because then you'll never really know if that was your answer or not. So I don't know, I just thought that was so cool, the idea of something that is so personal to you that you don't want to ask other people about it in order to come up with your own response. I'm gonna think about that question a lot now. I'm really enjoying this book. It's been kind of a rough day. I didn't tell you guys this, but Sully escaped today. He broke through my fence. I fixed it now. He's fine. It was just a bit of a rough start to my day. So Dan is on his way over. We're gonna go out to eat for dinner, and then hopefully I'll get a little bit of reading in before bed. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. reading How Do You Live. It's not cozy fantasy, so it doesn't really fit in this video, but I will do my very best to see the movie before we have to wrap this video up so that you can see some cozy fantasy in relation to that book. I very much enjoyed it. I really like these coming of age stories, especially when we're in the head of a young person and kind of learning through them all of these lessons that the uncle is trying to teach our main character, Copper. He's just navigating everyday life, and we're learning through these situations that he's going through how to deal with regret, how to deal with when you do something that you wish you hadn't done, and how actually that regret is a good thing in your life, because thinking about that moment where you did something wrong can help you to be a better person later in life. I just really liked that framing of it. I feel like The Midnight Library and this book have really shaped how I think about regret, and I really enjoyed kind of the added perspective that this brought to the way that I think about regret in my life. And there's a lot of little things like that. I think some books are really about one thing. I mentioned The Midnight Library, so I'll bring this up again. That book really is about regret, and it really focuses on that one thing and gives you a pretty clear answer as to how you should feel about that. Whereas How Do You Live takes a lot of different situations and a lot of different feelings that are uncomfortable and a lot of different things that you have to experience while you're trying to figure out how to be the best version of yourself and how you're trying to figure out how do you live. And I really just loved everything about this book. I think it is kind of a slower book. I think if you like Japanese literature, you're really going to like this. I had a fantastic time. I have nothing but good things to say. My memory card is about to be full, so I'm gonna check in with you guys later tonight while I'm getting ready for my holiday party, because I have started reading Trust the Emerald Sea. I'm quite a bit into it and I'm loving it, and I'm excited to tell you about it. Hi, it's time to get ready for my holiday party, but I want to talk to you guys about Tress because I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. This is not my first experience with Brandon Sanderson. I read the first Mistborn trilogy almost a year ago and really did enjoy the first book. Not so much the second book, and then the third book I thought was great as well. The only thing I didn't like about it was the portrayal of women. I thought our heroine cared way too much about whether or not she was wearing dresses when she was trying to save the world. And in book one, I thought she was very capable and like a regular female in the world. In book two, she went on a journey that was quite annoying, by the way. My friend took me to Ulta today and helped me to pick out some stuff because I'm not really a makeup girly. I'm really excited to try out some new stuff. Anyways, Tress, so much better. This, I don't know, I'm just loving every single second of it. How far am I? I'm this far in and I'm having a fantastic time. It is so cheeky and so funny. Let me see if I can read you. I underlined some things that I wanted to share with you. Empathy is an emotional loss leader. It pays for itself eventually. And then Tress took the singular step that separated her from most people in most stories. The act, it might be said, that defined her as a hero. She did something so incredible I can barely express its majesty. I should consider this more, Tress thought to herself, and not jump to conclusions. I laughed out loud when that happened. That's the vibe of this book, and we are following Tress on this adventure. She's going to save the man that she's in love with. I'm having a fantastic time. That's what I have to say about Tress. I cannot multitask, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting ready, and then I'll show you guys the completed holiday look before I go to this party. Hello, here's the final look. I have my little scarfy situation. A little velvet skater dress, and I need to figure out what necklace I'm gonna wear with it. I think it's gonna be this one. I like added some chain to it so that it would be long enough, but we'll see. Probably still not long enough, but I think that's okay. I think I'm happy with that. Okay, here's the look. I am gonna go to this holiday party, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take credit for it. It's me.
Hi, it's been a while. I got super sick with a cold. I don't know what it was. I never had a fever, but I was hacking my lungs up, and I feel so much better today. Like, I feel like I have rejoined the world of the living. And I'm excited because I get to talk to you about Tress of the Emerald Sea because I finished this last night. This has been truthfully so cozy and comforting while I have been ill. I have 2 dogs, as you know, and even when I'm sick, they need to be walked at least once a day. And for that half an hour that I was on my walk, it's cold right now. I just scraped frost off my windshield today. Just getting to listen to the audiobook of this while I was out on my walk was so lovely. Being able to sit on the couch and read this book, incredible. Brandon Sanderson has redeemed himself. I love this book so much. Yeah, this did it. This did exactly what I wanted it to do. I feel like the portrayal of women in this was very three-dimensional. It was cheeky and Princess Bride. And if you like Princess Bride, if you like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if you like The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, this is that sort of tone. And I greatly, greatly enjoyed it. It just feels like an adult fairy tale. I think the middle dragged a little bit. It lost my interest a tiny bit in the middle, but then things picked back up. I loved the beginning and the end. I could have done without the middle. I think this could have been maybe 50 pages shorter, and we could have just pulled out that chunk in the middle that was pretty slow and just kind of sped up some of the things that we had going on. Oftentimes I have an issue with books that are kind of like a world turned upside down. The premise of this was the Princess Bride if Buttercup had more to do. So when the man that Tress loves gets captured and taken away, instead of just accepting her fate and living her life and waiting to be rescued like Buttercup did, Tress goes off to go get Charlie, the man that she loves. I feel like it can very often be the case in those situations where we just kind of swap gender roles instead of removing the gender role entirely. And I really do think that this book did a really great job of giving both Charlie and Tress some gumption. Long story short, I feel like this kept all my favorite things about Brandon Sanderson's writing. I love the way that he does world building because it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't feel info dumpy. It feels like we're getting just the information that we need at the time that we need it, and it's not taking us out of the story. I just really love how he does his world building, and it also was missing all the things that I had an issue with in Mistborn. So I love this. I love a magic system written by Brandon Sanderson. It is always so complex in such a simple way. It just feels natural, and I love it so much. I'm really excited to pick up more things from Brandon Sanderson. I would love to know, of the special projects, if you've read all of them, which ones were your favorite? Is this like the best one, or should I go pick up some of the other ones? I am willing to give this man another try because he knocked it out of the park with this one, and I want to read more. I'm so happy that this was a win. Right now, I'm rereading A Song for the Well-Built. Again, who's shocked? I have a reason why I'm reading it again. I read this for the first time almost exactly a year ago. I just can't stop rereading this book. I reread it with my mother earlier this year, and then now I'm rereading it again because I am annotating it for Dan. I also wrote Dan a letter that he really enjoyed, and so I thought I would just turn my favorite book into one giant letter for him. So I'm annotating it for him, talking about all of my favorite parts and why they mean so much to me, and asking him questions while he's reading it, and I'm so nervous to give it to him. This is like the most vulnerable present I've ever given to anyone. My whole heart is in these pages. So I'm excited to give it to him, but I am nervous. I was gonna give him both A Psalm for the Well-Built and A Prayer for the Crown Shy, but I think I don't want to overwhelm him. And I also don't have many days left to do this. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just give him this one, and then when he finishes it, I'll give him the second one, and I'll do the second one. Last thing I have to show you, give me 1 second. Since we're talking about cozy things, last night I painted my present for Dan's parents, and I have 1 minute left in my memory card, so you have to look at it really, really quickly. But I painted them a little picture of their doggy, and here's my little picture of him. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. So I painted a little puppy, and I wanted to share it with you. That's my present for Dan's parents, which I think as soon as I finish this, everything will be done. It's December 20th as I'm filming this, so we're getting down to the wire of things I have to do. My memory card's about to be full. I will see you guys later. Hello friends, it has once again been a while. I finished reading both of these. I gave Dan his copy that was annotated and he really liked it. I gave his parents their present. I had a really lovely Christmas. I hope you did as well. If you celebrate, let me tell you about these two books because I don't think I ever pitched them when I was chatting about them. So this is the Monk and the Robot series by Becky Chambers. This is the first one. This is the second one. I love these books with my whole heart. It was my favorite book of the year this year, even though it technically was a reread. I explained that whole situation in my top 10 of the year. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it up there in the description. But this is a fantastic little duology about a monk and a robot. The monk is trying to figure out what their purpose is in life, and the robot is coming back to society after the robots and the humans kind of split when robots gained sentience. And the robot comes back with a question, what do humans need? And they form this unlikely friendship and basically just try to understand themselves, try to understand each other, try to understand Mosscap the robot is trying to understand this world that they have really never interacted with. And Dex, our monk, is also trying to understand Mosscap's world and the world of the wild. After I annotated the first one, I can't read the first one without reading the second one, so I did just read the second one. I decided not to annotate it as I was reading it. I hosted my parents for Christmas. It was a bit of a crazy time and I just needed some peace and quiet while I was out on a walk. I love the audiobooks for both of these, so I decided to just read this on audio and not annotate it, and when Dan finishes this one, I'll annotate the second one for him as well. So now I think is when we're gonna read our final book of this video. I really desperately want to get to Cursed Cocktails. This has been on my TBR for a really long time. And then one of you lovely people gifted it to me. So Lena, thank you so much. Lena actually gifted me 2 books and I took footage of me opening both of them and then never really had a vlog to like put that footage into. So we're gonna go back to that footage of me opening both of the books that Lena sent me, which includes this one. I'll pitch it to you when I open it and then we'll get into reading it and I'll let you guys know what I think of the first half. One of you sent me a package. And I'm gonna open it because I'm having a rough day and I think this is gonna make it a little bit better. Okay, let's do it. Okay, what do you think it's gonna be? I'm so excited. It's Burnham Wood. Oh, I cannot wait to read this. This was on my most anticipated books of 2023. And I didn't think I was gonna be able to get to it, but maybe now I will be able to. Sally's very interested in it too. This is about, there's this group of people who are like guerrilla gardeners. They're planting crops like in and among public areas that no one will notice. And then there's this plot of land that becomes for sale. And then there's this billionaire who I think wants to buy the land and ends up like letting them farm the land, but then things go down and it becomes thrillery. And guerrilla gardening that turns into a thriller is everything that I have ever wanted. So I'm so excited. Let's see if there's a note. I really hope there's a note. Amazon has not been sending me notes when you guys send me packages, and it's very annoying. Ah, yay! Lena, thank you so much. Lena, you are such a sweet human. I cannot wait to read this. She says, I wonder what you will think of this one. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too, Lena. This is exactly what I needed today, and I really appreciate you. I just got back from my friend's birthday dinner, and there's another package here, so we're gonna open it together. You guys are so sweet. I just want you to know how much I appreciate all of you. It's been kind of a rough couple of days, and this has been really nice. I'm so excited to read this. Oh my god, I was just planning content for 2024 and I want to do a cozy fantasy video. This is gonna make it into a vlog very soon. I really hope that there is a note. Please tell me there is a note. Lena, you sent me 2 books. You're so sweet. You're so good to me. Thank you so much, Lena. I'm so excited to read this. This is, I don't know if anyone is aware of this. So this is by S.L. Rowland. I think I found this on Reddit, in the Cozy Fantasy Reddit, and I've had this on my radar for months and months, like since I first found Legends and Lattes and went on my Cozy Fantasy binge. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's basically Legends and Lattes, but it's a bar and it's Cursed Cocktails. How cute is that? And this is a male-male romance, I believe. Oh my gosh, wait, I didn't know this had chronic pain representation. Okay, I'm so excited. Maybe it wasn't Reddit, maybe it was TikTok. It was either TikTok or Reddit, but I found the author and they were promoting their book and I'm so excited to pick this up. Thank you, Lita. Hello, it's the next day and I have finished over half of Cursed Cocktails. This is such a joy to read. I love cozy fantasy. I love it. I'm gonna do one of these videos every season at least. Our main character is a blood mage, and blood magic has like an effect on your body. It really wears you down. So he's in a lot of pain, even now that he has retired from the Northern Guard where he was fighting these creatures that only people with blood magic can fight. There's some like kind of not discrimination, but some weariness. People are afraid of blood mages basically because they have this power that is so unlike any other magical things that exist in this world. And so our main character is basically hiding his identity in his new life because he doesn't want to be seen as someone who is different from other people. He just wants to kind of like blend in and not be anything special. He wants to just live a quiet life. So the way that the bar comes into all of this is that he has this book of cocktail recipes from his father who died when he was young, and he can't really find anywhere in the north where he currently lives, where he was in the guard, in the army, whatever. He can't really find anywhere where they can make any of these cocktails, so he goes south to try to see if he can find some place that, you know, maybe is a little easier in his joints, reduces some of his pain, and also so he can make some of these cocktails. He hits it off with one of these bartenders he finds in the south, and they end up opening this beautiful little bar together. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is we are starting to open this bar and I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't think this is the best written thing that I have ever read, but that's not really what I'm looking for when I'm reading cozy fantasy. I'm not looking for something to be the most incredible piece of literature. I'm looking for a cozy, comforting time, and I am getting a cozy, comforting time. There is, I don't know if you can see, there's a kitty cat who is present in here, and I am greatly anticipating more cat. I want more of the cat in this, so I hope the kitty makes a reappearance in the second half of the book. They've just got a cat because they have a vermin problem, question mark, that they're not really sure how to solve. The one thing I will say about the writing that is bothering me a little bit is the world building feels very clunky. It's very obvious that the author has thought about this world a lot and knows all the history of all these kingdoms, but it doesn't really feel like information that we need to have in the moment. And so basically what's happening is our main character has all this knowledge. They're really into history. They're really well educated. A lot of the people that they're interacting with don't know as much about history. And so what'll happen is we'll be like in the middle of like a picnic, and then, or they'll be shopping for tapestries. Our main character will say something offhand like, oh, it's crazy how not all of the kingdoms are monarchies and like only 3 of them are. And like that would be a really cool just like piece of world building to just drop in there. And then the person they're talking to could respond with like, oh yeah, that is super weird that it's only these 3. I would be okay with that. But what's actually happening is the other character is like, oh, I didn't know that. Tell me more. And then they kind of like launch into this little like history spiel while they're in the middle of shopping for tapestries. And then when they're done with it, they go back to shopping for tapestries, and it's not really clear why we needed that information right then. It just kind of felt like our author was really excited about the world that they had created and wanted to find a way to like put in all of these other elements so that we knew that there was this whole vast world that was in their head. And I like seeing that excitement, but it does feel a little bit clunky the way that the world building is happening in here. But other than that, I am really enjoying it. I'm having a nice cozy time. Webster keeps walking in and out of this room because he wants me to feed him his dinner, and he's a very hungry boy. I need to feed him. So that's all I have to say about this. I will let you guys know when I have finished it. Hello friends, I finished reading Cursed Cocktails and I think it's gonna be a 3. I did enjoy my time reading this. I really liked how it ended, but it was never something that I was like wanting to pick up. I was thinking about what I wanted to say about this, and I feel like that criticism is maybe not super valid because cozy fantasy is meant to be low stakes, and when something is low stakes, it's inherently less of something that you feel like you need to pick up. But I didn't really feel that way about anything else that we read this month while we were filming this video. So I think I am going to stand by it as a criticism of this book, but I will say I did have a really lovely time reading this. I do love a cozy fantasy story. I love hearing how a business is opening, but ultimately I think the writing was just a little bit too clunky for me. This is gonna sound stupid, but it felt like I was reading a story that somebody had written. It didn't feel like I was immersed in the world, if that makes sense. I did enjoy getting to see this little relationship unfold, but I wish that we had had a little bit more of it. I really enjoyed the cat. I wish there were more cat. There's another creature in here. I wish we had more of that creature, but I definitely would pick up something from this author again, and I definitely don't want to dissuade anyone from picking this up, but it didn't hit as hard as Legends and Lattes did for me, and for a story that follows a very similar premise, I think it ultimately came down to the writing style not being super compatible with what I'm looking for. So that was Cursed Cocktails, and that's the last thing we're reading in this video. I'm so sad that I wasn't able to go see The Boy and the Heron. I really wanted to get that done before I had to wrap up this video because I really wanted to tell you guys my thoughts on it. But unfortunately, life has been a little bit busy and I want to go see it with my friend and it just didn't work out. So when I do eventually watch the video, I will talk about it in a vlog and I will link that video in the description of this one. So if you're watching this later, it'll be there. Or you could always subscribe and make sure that you see any future videos. I promise I will talk about it in a video and I will compare to How Do You Live because I'm very interested to see, especially because it's not a direct adaptation, what the film does with the book and how prevalent it is in the film. One more thing before we wrap up. I know in the beginning of this video, I was feeling pretty down about the state of the channel and everything. The video that I was talking about that didn't do so well was the Goodreads Choice Awards video. And actually I'm super glad that it didn't do so well because it gives me an excuse to not do it again next year. It's just a tough video to film. It's a tough video to read for. I feel very freed knowing that you guys also don't care super a lot about that video. So the channel is also doing a lot better than it has done in the past couple months. So thank you so much for everyone who is here and watching these videos. I genuinely brings me so much joy to do this for you guys and read your comments. I love it so much. I am so excited for all the fun moments that 2024 is going to bring, and I hope that you'll hang around and be here for our future adventures as well. Okay, that's all I have for you. Please let me know if you have read any of the books that I read in this video. If you have any cozy fantasy recommendations for me of things that I should pick up next. I absolutely love doing vlogs that are just cozy fantasy, so I would love to do this again in a couple of months. So give me your recommendations and I will pick up some things in the future and we can do this all over again on your recommendations. I think that would be fun. Okay, I post every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, so I will see you next week. Bye.